The king had everything: golden towers, a vast army, and a loyal kingdom. But what he lacked was peace. Every night he paced the halls of his palace, haunted by dreams of betrayal and loss. Something deep within warned him his throne was at risk, and so he summoned the one man he believed could uncover the truth, Priest Elijah, the royal seer and spiritual guide for over 2 decades. "Fate is stirring," the priest said calmly, his eyes closed as if listening to something far away. "And not all who smile in your court wish you well." These words planted fear in the king's heart. Unbeknownst to them, hidden behind a silk curtain, the king's chief advisor, Lord Gareth, listened intently. Gareth had long grown hungry for more power. The priest's influence over the king was the final wall between him and total control. That night, Gareth made a decision. He would frame the priest. A week later, a floating chest washed up at the river's edge near the temple. Inside were stolen royal jewels, items that had been missing for months. Soldiers arrived at Priest Elijah's quarters with grim faces. "You've betrayed the crown," one growled, tossing the chest at Elijah's feet. "I have done no such thing," the priest replied with calm clarity. "Fate always reveals the truth. Just give it time." But the court was already poisoned with Gareth's lies. The king, torn but pressured by his ministers, sentenced Elijah to exile. He was to be banished to the wastelands beyond the eastern ridge, where only wind and sand remained. Years passed. The kingdom prospered on the surface, but beneath it, corruption brewed. Gareth, now the king's closest advisor, slowly tightened his grip, diverting funds, silencing voices, and spreading fear. The king aged rapidly, his nights now filled not with anxiety, but with guilt. He often visited the temple where Elijah once stood, staring at the empty pulpit with heavy regret. Meanwhile, beyond the ridge, Elijah lived humbly among wandering tribes. He taught children to read the stars, guided travelers, and helped villages survive drought and disease. Though cast out, he never let bitterness grow. Instead, he waited, for fate never rushed. Then came the storm. One night, a fierce flood swept through the kingdom. Torrential rains unearthed hidden tunnels beneath the royal vaults. As walls crumbled, guards discovered a secret chamber beneath Gareth's quarters. Inside, scrolls, forged seals, and maps detailing smuggling routes and plans to seize the crown. The evidence was undeniable. The king collapsed in shame. "I cast out the only man who warned me," he whispered, tears staining his beard. With haste, he summoned a group of riders. "Find Elijah, bring him home, if he still lives." 2 weeks later, Elijah returned, not as a broken exile, but as a revered sage. Crowds lined the streets. Many knelt in silence as he passed. Even the wind seemed to pause. In the royal court, the king fell to his knees. "Forgive me," he said, voice trembling. "I saw the truth too late." Elijah smiled, gently lifting the king's chin. "Fate is not cruel, Your Majesty. It simply waits for the right time to open our eyes." Gareth was stripped of all titles and imprisoned, not out of vengeance, but justice. The king reinstated Elijah not only as priest, but as the voice of wisdom in all matters of state. Under his guidance, the kingdom healed, both in spirit and governance. Years later, a young prince asked Elijah, "How did you stay patient all those years in exile, knowing you were innocent?" The old priest looked at the boy, eyes sparkling like a calm ocean before sunrise. "Because fate is like a river. You may curse its silence, but you must trust that its current always moves toward truth, even if it takes the long way." Moral of the story: never underestimate fate. Truth has a way of surfacing, often when least expected. In moments of injustice and despair, stay grounded in integrity and patience. Those who walk with truth may stumble, but they never fall.